Hey, on today's Living in Las Vegas. Well, if you live in this town long enough, there's a good chance you're going to bump into somebody famous. So on today's show, we're going to talk about celebrity encounters in Las Vegas. Who were some of the really cool people we've met, and who were some of the biggest we've ever had the displeasure in meeting. Plus, we've got real quick stories, live chat questions, listener email, and of course, have a drink on me. This is the Living in Las Vegas podcast where, when you think comedians, you think happy people, right? Of course. No. Run. Let's get started.
They are bitter, empty soul.
Bitter. Living in Las Vegas starts now.
Yes, it does.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, that groovy little podcast that gives you a true first-person look into what it's like to call Sin City your home. The Living in Las Vegas podcast.
Yes, it does.
And now your host, a man who clearly needs some kind of introduction, otherwise you wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah, brother Scott.
Mr. Scott Whitney. Welcome, everybody, to the Living in Las. It's like you're taking notes. I feel like you're my stenograph.
I am. I'm just trying to impress during this interview.
Welcome, everybody, to the Living in Las Vegas podcast.
I'd like to make it to round two.
Video Network.
I'm a little scared. Not going to lie.
Nothing wrong with that. Good to keep you on your toes. Hey, and by the way, let me congratulate you because you are either watching or listening to the longest running podcast about Las Vegas that actually originates from
Las Vegas?
Vegas, that's right.
Tell me what I've won.
He's kind of new in the whole thing. We'll go right. By the way, your hosts usually have a combined total of 30,000 years of experience, but together we have a combined total of 15 or 15.
7.
How long have you been here? 17 years of experience. What does that mean? It means we're not only going to cover what it's like to live here, but we're going to tell you about our adventures. We're going to tell you about what it's like on the Strip in Fremont, downtown, other cool places in the Valley. And by the way, if you're a tourist, if you're a fan of the city, if you think Vegas is all that in a bag of chips, well, guess what, my brother?
You're right.
This show here is like your own secret handshake to all things groovy. As a matter of fact, we're going to make you the pretty girl at the party. That's right. You're going to watch this and they're going to be like, oh, he's kind of attractive. Why is that? Well, living in Las Vegas, among other things. Oh, and he's hung like a... Anyways, we do our live show every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock at vegasvideonetwork.com/live. Join us in the live chat. This is the coolest, most beautifulest community of people you'll ever see. As a matter of fact, we had people in the live chat talking an hour and a half before the show starts. That's how connected they are. And you, good listener, good viewer, can be a part of that community. I'm telling you, they will bring them to your bosom.
So if I wanted more of this community, what are some other ways I could interact?
We'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for jumping in there. I like that you tried to get in. I think that's great. By the way, I am Scott Whitney. Konnichiwa. Buenas noches. How you doing, hot stuff? I am the owner of the Vegas Video Network. Been an online broadcaster since 2006 professionally. And I'm not joined by RQS today. I don't have Drinky Pants here. He's okay. He's got a little pneumonia. I'm not sure if a little pneumonia is actually the right term for that, but he told me he's feeling fine. Doctor just said he wanted him to chill out. So Brett's just kind of hanging out, but I've got somebody special here. He's been a part of the network since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, arguably, if it wasn't for, wait, that's too much. It really isn't that big. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He was helpful. Yeah. He did some good commercials.
I showed up a couple times.
He was a good guy.
Commercials were fun.
It was real good. All right.
All sorts of stuff.
Okay.
I used to hang big spoons and forks. And
well, let me introduce you to him. It's Pimpin Wayne, everybody. There he is.
Thank you. Oh, in the back. You're too much. Really, seriously. And over there, too.
Right there. It's a lovely group. We're all back together again. I'm so happy. happy. Okay.
Yeah, Sammy
your
Hagar
job.
coming back until you guys
Decide
realize
we
I'm
don't
up to my shenanigans.
No, I don't want to hear Dreams
Yep.
again. I'm sick of that song. I want Running with the Devil.
I can drive 55, by the way, unlike Sammy.
Oh, that's good. Are you still driving that little car? That little fake
little
car?
car.
What do you call that thing? The electric car?
Yeah, Chevy Volt.
Yeah.
Gonna get the new one.
Still like it?
No, damn, I'm gonna get the new one because I mean that's how I roll
Well,
now.
yeah, because you're a big time executive or something.
I am.
Over under, you have to decide what the over under is for our show today.
Oh, I'm on a big sports gambling hot streak. College basketball. That's my time.
Okay, what are we doing?
Oh, Scott, you and I have gone into the wee hours many times. I gotta go minutes.
Yes, minutes.
Let's go. It's 8:06 right now. I'm gonna say 9:14.
What does that mean? Just give me, so that's 60, 70, what?
68 minutes.
68 minutes. Clearly, Wayne has not watched the show. We haven't hit a 68 minute in about ever.
I do follow you on Twitter.
So as you'll see, under, yeah, I'm going to say a bunch of overs here in the live chat already. Steve's got me the over and moving forward there. By the way, we want to say hello, Donkashin. What's up to our new live chat person, Chucky C. is in the live chat. Chucky's from Columbus, Ohio, your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Probably in general, Ohio. I mean,
Yeah.
how big is Ohio? It's not that big.
It's decent size. 4 hours from one side to the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like trying to drive from this side to that side. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, during the show.
It's like trying to go up to Aliante from where you.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's 4 hours.
I saved on so much airfare by not having to fly up to your house anymore up there.
I know. So Chucky C is from Columbus, Ohio, and he says he's been following us for years. So it's great to have Chucky in the live chat. Welcome, my brother. Thanks for playing along. And you may be asking, what are we drinking? Absolutely reasonable question. We walk in, and what was the first thing you asked me?
Scott, do you like root beer?
And I do like root beer. I'm a fan of root beer. A&W root beer with a little ice cream, arguably one of my favorite things. So Pimpin Wayne brought in this, and he said, well, we're going to have root beer, but, you know, it's not your father's root beer. I'm like, well, that's cute. No, it's actually not your father's root beer.
There you go.
And you might think, okay, Scott doesn't normally drink root beer during the show. And this is really not root beer. It's got alcohol in it. So as a practice, I'm a believer in alcohol.
Okay.
In beverages.
I know.
In beverages. I had
As
a sip
opposed to in solid form?
well, no, you can have them in like cakes,
Oh, yeah.
cookies,
Getting
alcohol
crazy.
cakes. Sure. So I had a taste like this. I will now reenact my first sip of the Not Your Father's root beer.
Dramatically, of course.
Wow, that's complete shit.
Does it not, Your Honor,
Oh God! It
Does it
still
not-
makes me wanna
does it
gag.
not taste like root beer?
It does taste like root beer,
Okay.
but
Can
I
you
don't-
barely tell there's alcohol in it?
No, I can tell there's alcohol in it,
Oh.
but it's not pleasant. So we're going to Plan B. We're going to run with scissors wine because I don't believe in being safe while hanging out with my friends.
But you do believe in drinking Cabernet Sauvignon.
I'll take whatever I get. I will never drink that root beer again.
You really didn't like
But let me
it,
just say this. I
that's
do
good.
appreciate that you brought it. I know, I really did. I saw you walking. I'm like, God damn. Good
I always bring
Good old
something.
Pimpin Wayne's
Yeah.
I've always appreciated that about you. So I do appreciate you bringing it. I thought you were going to bring Platinum.
Well, I mean, come on. You can only play the hits so many times.
Memories.
And then you gotta, just keeping it fresh and current.
I get that. I'm with you. All right. So as I said,
Millennials love it.
the Platinum?
No,
Or
the
this crap?
root beer.
Oh, no wonder. Millennials don't know what the hell they're doing. And by the way, if you're a millennium, I'm talking to you. Celebrity encounters in Las Vegas. This is a pretty cool town when it comes to that kind of thing. It's not unusual for you to be out on an evening and spot a celebrity. It's
America's playground.
It is America's playground. As a matter of fact, I was out, I don't know, probably when I first got here. 8, 7, 10 years ago, and I see Tommy Lee, little Tommy Lee, and he's like a pocket drummer. He's literally about this big. He's the smallest little fella. He looks like he thinks showers are an option. Look kind of grimy, a little dirty, but the
Vince
great.
Neil, tiny too.
Yeah, he is tiny. Now, I've met him, and I didn't really meet Tommy, but it was interesting. There's a reason they call him Tripod. and he was all tripoded out. I'm like, that guy is hung like a zebra? I don't know. He's big fella, but he's
First thing you noticed, eh?
yeah. So what? I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I'm not afraid of that.
I mean,
Listen,
I learned that early on about you.
the man can do it, and you have to be. I'm appreciative of that kind of skill set. That's all I'm saying. But that's not who I met. That's not what I'm about. We've had the opportunity to hang out with legitimate celebrities in our midst.
We have.
Now, previous in the pre-show, you ranked those celebrities in an alphabetic way. You didn't give them A's or B's. They were a little bit lower than that, arguably.
Yeah, arguably, I was just reminiscing about the time, and there was a lot of time that you and I spent. We were one time heavily involved in the DEF scene.
We were. Now, and I'm not saying. Let me just preface this discussion with: I'm not saying they were DEFs. Wayne is saying they're DEFs.
I mean, compared to. Listen, you and I didn't ever hang out at Bally's drinking till 2 a.m. with Donnie and Marie.
No.
Or Celine.
No.
I
did get an invite.
Rod Stewart didn't come by and
No.
say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
Was that your English accent? Because it was
That's as good as
horrible.
it gets.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I blame the root beer.
You blame the Rupert. So do I. But so we've had the opportunity to meet and talk and hang out with a pretty interesting group of people. And I wanted to talk to you about it because sometimes these people are okay.
Yeah,
They're kind of neat,
many of them are.
kind of groovy, kind of friendly. And guess what? Sometimes they're shits. Absolute shits. So guess what? We're going to tell you which ones are nice and which ones are shits. That's what we're going to do on today's show. Let's begin with the gentleman who, we're going to break this down in different groups: celebrity, entertainers, sports, musicians, and one other thing that I forgot actors and comedians as well. So lots of different people we've met. So I'm going to start with the very first celebrity I met in Las Vegas.
Oh boy.
We talked about him last week. It's Robin Leach, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't you have to be a celebrity to be in
Robin,
this segment?
he's a celebrity. Now let's talk about Robin for a minute. Now this is what's crazy about Robin. You're young, but I remember, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. That was at the time
NBC.
the first reality show. Basically, it was hugely popular worldwide, hundreds of countries. He made a boatload of money doing this show. So now he ends up in my studios, which means he zigged when he should have zagged, quite clearly.
Oh, the mighty have fallen.
And so here's how I met him. The first time I had a show with a guy named Steve Dacry, who was a close-up magician. We had a little show, and the show was supposed to start at 5 o'clock. Now, we had just started the network, so I'm like, 5 o'clock, we're just getting started. I'll wait. I want Robin Leach. I want him for the whole thing. So I think we started the show at 5:15. Robin comes in around then. And the first thing he says is, "Why aren't you running now? This is like TV. We should be going." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? This is so weird. You don't even know me." He goes, "Yes, you're Scott Whitney." I'm like, "What the fuck? How is it that you know me?" And it was weird. So we get him in the show, and he was amazing. Amazing. Say what you will about Robin. And a lot of people have really mixed opinions about him, including myself. But I'll tell you this, as a guest, nobody better. One of the best guests you can have on your show, because he's a smart guy.
He is.
And he's super opinionated. And he knows this,
He's got
that.
stories.
He's got a shitload of stories. So he's pretty fun to talk to. Like, we've had him on twice. We on Steve's show, and then we had him over on Talk Tales. And you can see he's an easy laugh. I could make him laugh without even working hard. But here's what's weird about knowing Robin Leach. I actually know this guy, meaning if I'm in a room and I see him, he'll go, "Scott Whitney!" He knows me. Now
That's impressive.
It's creepy because I watch this guy. It's just
man
weird.
crush.
It's just weird. Scott Whitney, and the whole time I don't know if you guys know this, but he tried to run his own network. He tried to start his own network here in Las Vegas. I think it was about 2008 or so he did this. Spent a lot of money. And a lot of people were involved here. And the reason why I know this, the only reason why I know this is because when we started the network and we did our first Studio Apprentice opening, a lot of people who used to work for Robin came to me. And so I learned that.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I remember. A lot of people were like, yeah, it didn't quite work. He didn't quite understand this, blah, 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 yeah. So, but every time I see him now, he's like, the Vegas Video Network can't work.
I remember that.
He
Yeah.
literally tells me this. And I'm like, well, the first time I'm like, well, we're doing 5 figures. And we just got started. Is that working or not? So now we're doing more. Is that working or not? So it's kind of this back and forth shit that he and I always
Not
have.
working enough to get on Lifestyles.
Yeah, you're right. Well, exactly. So
There's champagne and caviar in here.
he's
Running with
an
scissors
interesting
and root
guy.
beer.
He's actually referred people to me as like a month ago. He referred somebody to me. I'm like, well, either he's sending somebody who doesn't like, or which I don't think was the case, or he's
This guy didn't want to do like a morning show, did he?
No, please don't do that again. All right. So next up, entertainer. This is a guy who I grew up watching on The Tonight Show, and it was Rich Little.
Oh.
I met this guy. Nuts. Were you there during that show?
No. I only know Rich. He was on Family Guy once.
Was on Family Guy?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
So he comes in, and he's lived in Vegas for a very long time, and it's an interesting thing meeting Rich Little. At the time, my mom was alive, so I got to tell her I met Rich Little, and my mom's like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." But he's an older guy, and you can kind of tell he seemed a little unsure of what was happening in this newfangled broadcasty kind of world. And he had kind of a negative vibe about him a little bit, which really immediately bummed me out. I'm like, God damn it, you're Rich Little. Come on, be funny. Give me some Reagan, which, by the way, he did. And that's part of the thing that's a little sad about him is that, the poor guy is doing jokes and doing impressions that I get. You probably don't get them all.
No.
And
maybe the whole Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall?
yeah, so that would be a Reagan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And
That's
that's
what
it.
he does Reagan, though, right?
He does do Reagan.
Yeah.
He does it very well.
Yeah.
And so we did the interview. He was on Talk Tales, and he was really good once he got going. Once we got him in a good mood, and you can see it here. He is having a ball. And basically, we were just, it was just slow pitch stuff to him. Tell us about this. What was like this? And he had some really good stories. But the thing that was uncomfortable was you could just kind of tell he was a little unsure what's happening. And the sadness is this guy should be a gazillionaire. He worked, I don't know, for 30 years, whatever. And now he's playing at the Tropicana, at the Laugh Stop or whatever that place is called.
Ex-wives will do that to you.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a little sad that he's out there doing that when you realize this guy used to be probably one of the most well-known entertainers in all of the country for sure. He was on, I don't know how many times he was on The Tonight Show, but it was stunning. So it was exciting to meet him, and he was nice enough. Like I said, he was kind of a little annoyed, kind of, what am I doing here? Once he got warmed up, he warmed up. But it's a drag that this guy who is a monster is now doing a Tropicana gig. Makes me sad. Now let's go into some sports.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a monster who now is fallen on a little bit harder times. So the first person that I ever interacted with on a vacation, a buddy of mine and I are walking through Mandalay Bay.
Yep.
And they have one of those sports memorabilia stores.
Yep.
And who's sitting out front making an honest day's living?
Who's that?
Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose.
Oh, man.
And Pete's sitting there. And of course, to actually get him to sign something or take a photo, you have to buy like a $60 baseball from inside and then pay like another
Ouch.
what have you.
Right.
So we're walking by, and my buddy says to him, Pete, what do the Reds look like this year? And Pete immediately doesn't have to think about it, he just immediately just retorts back, well, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would say it'll be a down year for them. And
That's
it's like,
ironical.
Oh, Pete. And that was free. So I felt like I got the better deal than if I actually would have walked away with the baseball.
and he was I've seen him at is it Miracle Mile? What's the Forum
Field of
Shops?
Dreams.
Forum
maybe?
Shops.
Those anywhere where there's one of those Field of Dreams.
I thought he had a place for a
souvenir
while.
Stores. Luxor.
Yeah, well, he was. I saw him at Forum Shops. There was a baseball card, sports paraphernalia, whatever you call those things.
I mean, listen, Pete's not picky. He's going to show up if there's a table and a Sharpie marker.
And it was
he
pretty.
gets a cut.
That's a perfect example of sad, because I remember walking by him, the same thing. I didn't talk to him. I feel like, oh man, this is brutal. And he was there with a guy watching him, a guard. I don't know what you call him, and nobody around him. And you just want to go, oh man,
How the mighty have fallen.
dude. If only you would not have bet, or
Well,
admitted to it.
He I don't think he still has he?
No.
I mean, that's a whole other.
Yeah,
we could
know.
get into that debate.
Okay, so lots of musicians we've had a chance to meet. One of the nicest. Well, we've got some great ones. And it's fortuitous that you are here on this day.
Of course, it would be.
But one of the first we met at a Christmas show I gave was Bubba Knight, who is a Pip. As in Gladys Knight thereof and the Pips. And here's the thing that's fascinating about this guy. This is another example of a dude who, monster famous, big guy, and
I've never heard of
the biggest sweetheart you would ever meet. Thanks everybody. I mean, he thanked us for being on our little Christmas show. He was also on the regular Talk Tale. He pulled me and said, thank you so much for having me on your show.
He was probably so happy that the phone call from you wasn't a bill collector.
You're welcome. No, I think he's okay there. But just a sweetheart. And by the way, here's the other thing. You hope that when you meet people and they're given the opportunity to perform, that they haven't lost their chops. So, for example, I go back to Rich Little. Rich Little, when he did all of the things that he did on our show, he still sounded like Rich Little doing Johnny Carson and Rich Little doing John Wayne and Rich Little doing all those things. He was good. You could tell he was in, on Johnny's or Stewart and all that kind of stuff. Bubba Knight, he gets up and he sang. I think it was a Christmas song on this particular shot here. Holy camoles, man! A voice like an angel. I was just like, what is this? So this is one of those things where you hope he gets to do what he wants to do, which is, like everybody who comes to town, they want to have their own show. Everybody wants their own show.
I thought it was going to be on VVN. But...
Yeah, it was going to be VVN too.
Oh, After Dark.
Yeah, that's right. But and I don't know that he's actually done anything, but I will say this. He was one of the guys where you go, God, what a super, super nice guy. I hope he does well. And another guy we met who won America's Got Talent in episode, or I think it was season 5. That's Michael Grimm. He did a couple shows. He did our Christmas show. He also did one of our Talk Tales. And what was interesting about him is you'll never meet somebody more uncomfortable in his own skin. Really uncomfortable. His handlers were really concerned with what we're going to ask him and the environment. As a matter of fact, normally when you come into our old studio, you hang out for a little while. You get in, we mic you up, we kind of tell you what, and you hang out, just chilling, bullshit. Not Michael. Michael went back to his car in our parking garage. You remember that?
I do.
And kind of hung out there until like 5 minutes before we were ready to go, and then he came back up. So he didn't really want to interact with anybody. And then when he was on the actual show, super quiet, kind of whispery, and there's a certain charm to that, but it's also hard to, draw stuff out of him. But when he performs, holy crap, this guy is good. But, the story here has always been he didn't want to win. Mm-hmm. He beat that girl opera singer, I forget her name, who David Foster took over. David Foster's a monster music producer, and took this girl, and now they're touring the world. She's, an amazing singer. He beat her. And you could see his face when he won. He's like, oh, what happened? Because he was playing the Ovation Room over at Green Valley, right?
Yeah, that's a bingo hall now.
I know. So he was doing that before he got famous. He gets famous, $1 million, buys the grandma a house, and 3 years later, you know what he's playing? The fucking Ovation Room. He's back. He went back there. Now he's not there now.
Yeah, I would say he's
But
in the
that-
bingo hall.
No, but that's what he went back there, and now he's kind of just touring
Well,
around.
remember
and playing
something
it.
weird happened. He was at the Hard Rock,
Oh,
and then like 2 weeks into that, it just disappeared.
they reached out to me and said, "We'd like for you to go watch." It actually is a CD. He just had a CD release. By the way, his logo is horrible.
Well,
Oh, it's just horrible.
can't be any worse than the worst album cover of all time that you and I saw.
Which one was? Oh. He and I had a little bit of pissing contest. I don't know if you know that. It's pretty
No.
funny. It's so funny.
Worst album cover. ever.
Grimm, Michael Grimm, just does a new album, has that deal over at Hard Rock, and I got a thing saying, "Hey, they're doing a CD release, and would you like?" And I'm like, "I would love to see his new show." So I go. I make arrangements to go there. I show up. He happens to not be playing that night. There was a miscommunication. I'm like, what are you going to do? I'll get you next week. Nope.
There was no next
There
week.
was no next week. He was gone. And so for whatever reason, he's had a hard time trying to fill here. Now he's touring around doing, small clubs and stuff, and he seems to be happy enough. But it was really it wasn't fun watching him because I always felt like he was going to jump out of his skin. Like he was really I just want to not have to do this when he's performing, when he's singing. Most comfortable looking guy in the world. But God, just talking to the guy, I felt like I was kind of on top of him a little bit, and we were pumping the brakes as much as we possibly could with this guy. So I wish this guy well. I hope he does well. And all the musicians I know who know him think he's a god. He's an amazing, amazing performer. All right, so I met this other gal. I put her under musician. She used to be kind of an actress. She's a musician-y kind of thing now. Pia Zadora. Now, here's the thing about Pia. I didn't really talk to her much. I couldn't have been less or more underwhelmed by somebody than her. So she's the kind of person who came in and kind of had this "I'm too cool for the room" vibe.
Is this pre-head injury or post-head injury?
This is pre-head injury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's over at what's that place called? Piero's?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is before she got the Piero gig.
Okay.
So she's kind of running around trying to, get gigs at wherever she's at. And we had her on the show, and she walks in with this kind of aloof thing, and I'm like, I don't get it, man. We're just trying to have some fun. We're trying to help you. Being aloof doesn't help. But but she's one of the same people who, once she got on, click, switch turned on. She became very friendly and very engaging, and just a lovely, lovely gal.
Is that so?
Oh yes, it was quite enjoyable.
Well then.
And then once we were done, we're like, okay, I guess we're done. So I was just like, God, is this going to be the way it is for most of these people? And come to find out, yeah, it's the way for a lot of these people, with the exception of this woman. I met a Supreme.
Oh. Was it a Supreme experience?
It was. Here's what I loved about this gal. This is Mary Wilson, one of the original Supremes. She didn't spend a lot of time bitching about, other people in the Supremes. I mean, she talked about it a little bit, but she was super friendly, fascinated by all the stuff that was going around her. Great storyteller, big smiles, happy to be here.
All right.
Do anything you want.
Woo.
That's the kind of woman you want to, or anybody kind of person you want to hang out with. She's the kind of person you look at her and go, I don't know what your deal is. And like everybody else, she wanted another show, her own show. And I kept thinking, God, I hope she gets it. And she sang for us.
Wow.
Yeah, sing. Okay, I'll sing. How about I just sit in a chair and sing? Shit, that's great. You do that. That's talent. That was great. Now, part of our job was to meet everybody who's on one of these damn contests. So we, of course, met American Idol winner. And that would be Taylor Hicks.
Oh. I never knew this.
Yeah.
That's not Photoshop, huh?
No, it's not Photoshop. That's Taylor Hicks. And guess what? Super talented guy. Was he super friendly when he walked in?
Probably not.
No. He was a little unsure. He had handlers around him a little bit, managers. So you couldn't really talk to Taylor directly. Because I had some ideas for him. I thought, there's a couple of things that we could do with you, and it'd be pretty fun. It'd be a lot of fun. And it was more like, yeah, you got to talk to my manager about that. I'm like, really? I got to talk to your manager about this?
It's a brand. You got to protect the brand.
Okay, that sounds fun. Meanwhile, he's playing at a lounge at Bally's.
Windows.
Yeah. I'm like, come on. Well, no, actually, he was in no, that's the nice lounge at Bally's. He was in the downstairs on the casino floor for a while. that they cordoned off and had a 2-drink minimum. So they did that stuff. Same thing. Super talented guy. But he just not super warm. Didn't want to kind of hang out. And he was one of those guys who didn't really, part of the vibe here in Vegas for entertainment is just you know each other. And I'm not a part of that. But you got to kind of mingle.
There's
to know.
a circle. Oh yeah.
And he didn't want to get involved with that, part of that kind of stuff. And he's not here anymore. So for a while he was kind of killing it, or well, I wouldn't say he's killing it, but he was getting a decent amount of press. He was kind of making it happen. Then it didn't start working out, and he went up to Reno at Harrah's up there, I think. Yeah, and then or Tahoe, and it's like, and I don't know what he's doing now. But I tell you, under all the musicians that we met, there was only one.
There was
only one that, it grabbed my heart.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of music and you think of guitars, there is a category of guitarist that is arguably considered the best. The term is a master guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
That term is not used loosely.
No, it is not.
No, it's not. These people who call themselves or who are labeled master guitarists are anointed for sure. That's well put. Are arguably the best of the best. They have commanded their instrument. There's no better. Wayne and I were fortunate.
Oh my gosh.
We had an opportunity to
Getting
meet.
all flushed just thinking about this.
I know. A man who came from quiet beginnings,
Very
playing in Arizona, doing hotels, I'm sorry.
Dinner shows.
And then he came to Las Vegas. I'm, of course, speaking none other than Esteban, the great and powerful Esteban.
God, he looks so good there.
He's a handsome man.
He really has gotten old and fat lately.
Yeah.
But man, such joyful youth and vigor in that shot.
You see many things in that shot that are important. First, he has a bedazzled guitar.
Bejeweled, bedazzled. If I remember correctly, that was a new product launch, especially for
on
the
QVC,
Vegas Video Network.
Yes, it was it was a conjunction with VVN and QVC.
Well, I mean, someone's got to move the merchandise.
Right.
You need a middleman.
Nobody rocks a bolero hat. Nobody rocks the dark sunglasses.
I think that's imported silk too.
The shirt.
Yeah.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
China.
And virgin silkworms.
Yep.
If there are such a thing.
They're immaculately concepted just for that shirt.
Now, let's be honest about that photo. What you're seeing there is a representation of the experience we had. No one can actually photograph Esteban. He's very much like a vampire. Pictures don't work. However, we actually did meet the real Esteban, not this gentleman here who appears to be Esteban.
You know what's great about my favorite part of that episode was I think there's a 6-minute and 37-second window where all you do is laugh.
Yeah, no, it was fucking hysterical.
And you get to pick yourself up off the floor.
In the live chat, Mike Q's like, that episode was funny as shit. It was great. So here's how this all started. We really did meet Esteban.
We did.
So over at the Shimmer showroom, where shows go to die, not all shows, just most of them. So we hear about.
You don't have any
Esteban.
faith in sexy?
You know that's had 200 episodes or 200 shows now.
Wow!
Can you believe that? Oh my God! I haven't seen it, so I probably can't say anything. But I'm like, really? I saw the lineup.
People loved Hitler too.
I saw the lineup. I'm like, wow. I don't know. Anyway, so he's playing over at the Shimmer showroom at the one time.
Because at the time, let's frame this now for the viewer. The reason why he was slumming it a little at the Shimmer Cabaret is because they were building.
Don't get ahead. Don't get ahead.
Oh, okay.
Because that's critical to his story.
Okay, sorry.
Critical. We didn't learn that until we got there.
Okay.
We didn't know that.
Okay.
Super important. Very good. As a matter of fact, Rob has already put the link to the audio file. Living in Las Vegas, Hanging with Esteban, episode 197 is the show. Okay, so we go to the Shimmer showroom. It's a date night between the boys, and we get there. And now the Shimmer showroom is actually kind of a neat room. It's about 250 room. It's the the classic what are those tables called? The high top tables with a little. What are those
Like
things
a cocktail table?
Yeah, yeah. So it's got those all around. It's really a great room. It's one of my favorite rooms. As a matter of fact, who's that Prince band that was there?
Purple Rain.
Are they still there?
Yeah.
Go see them.
Yeah. We had a great time.
Oh, go see them.
Yeah.
That's a great room for that. Okay, so we go to this room, and I've seen a couple shows there. So we go there. Holds about 250 people there. Wayne and I represented about 10% of the entire audience. It was about 15 or so. As a matter of fact, we did it with show tickets, which is great. Now I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But they're like, no, go up front, please sit right there.
Oh yeah,
Please
we
sit
were
there.
We were stage left.
Oh, we had great seats. So we get up there, and Esteban comes out, and holy shit.
Woo-hoo. Woo.
Holy shit.
Wow.
So
There was a point you had to elbow me and say, tone it down a little.
well, I mean, so here's the thing. I used to be a professional guitarist. And all guitar players, especially those of us who made a living, look at this guy and go, what the hell is going on here? Because he calls himself a master guitarist. And by the way, that's all bullshit. And he says he studied under Segovia. That's probably most people think that's
Segovia
bullshit.
gave him the name.
Yeah, yeah. Because his name is Steve, and now he's Esteban. I'm like, oh, fuck it, that sounds great. Yeah. And anybody who hears him play knows he is a hack. I mean, he's a hack. Listen, I haven't played in a long time. I was a better guitar player than Esteban all day, half the night. Here's what I wasn't good at. I can't wear a bolero hat. I don't like walking around inside of a house with sunglasses on.
Oh, okay.
He knocks that shit out of the park.
How about tight pants?
Branding? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We actually thought he was pretty hung.
It was. There was some. Those were some.
I think he's got a little sausage.
He's got some tight pants.
He's doing all right. Okay. So also he's like listening to this right now going, yeah, but I'm hung like a fucking horse, so I don't care. Fair enough, Esteban, or Steve, you win. So anyway, so he gets up and starts playing. Now the band has shrunk since he first got there. He had drummers and he had other horn players and he had his sister or daughter was playing fiddle. When we get there, it's a sound man, the fiddle player, and him.
No. You're forgetting. What was the guy's name? Walter or William? The guy that played wind chimes.
He's a percussionist. That's right.
Yes.
He's
Did some light bongo and some wind chimes.
And he was the opening announcer, too. Ladies and gentlemen.
He was.
Esteban, right?
And then he took his place behind the wind chimes.
Right. So,
I believe he went to the Juilliard School for that.
I'm sure he did. So he starts to play, and it's just hack and sack the whole time. But he's it's so funny because there's a couple old women and they're like leaning into him. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's not.
He draws,
and he's one of those guys who claims his own credibility all over again and again. Yeah, I sold millions of this. Or we're getting ready to put a new CD on QVS. QVC. The fuck you are. And then is when he unleashes the bomb. This whole Shimmer showroom thing, temporary.
All things, or what does it say? Nothing gold can stay.
Right, no, we've got bigger things. What's that, Esteban? What are you going to do? Oh, well, casino on the strip. Yeah. We'll call it Tropicana. Oh, really? That's a strip property. Yeah, they're building me. They're building me a whole new
remodeling.
They're remodeling a whole theater for me now.
1,500 seats, I believe.
Yeah, for those of you who know, there is a large theater.
True statement.
At the Trop. It's a big place.
That's a fact.
And I saw what's that? Recycled percussion there. It's a big.
I did too.
It's a big boys, room. I think you're right. Might be 1,000 people, whatever.
Yeah, Tiffany. It used to be the Tiffany Theater.
Okay, all right. So I'm like, well, that's an interesting story, Steve. Continue, won't you? And so he's like, yeah, so we're just doing this for a while. They're putting that all together. I sound like Robin Leach. No, they're putting it together.
Yeah, you have to get a little deep and thready.
So
there's this on the strip.
That is his voice.
There's they're building a 1,500 seat showroom. They're all redoing it. It's under construction right now. And
we're blessed. We're very blessed.
We're very blessed. We can't wait to get there and just play for all of our fans. And
that's all we care about.
And I've got a new guitar coming out.
It's just about the fans.
I'll be on QVC Friday at 2 a.m.
Yeah. 2 a.m. So we're like, okay, this couldn't be funnier. So we wrap up, and very much like everybody else at the Shimmer showroom, it's a meet and greet after the show. I'm like, fucking A, we're going to meet and greet this guy.
We are.
This
Because
is gonna be awesome.
to be honest, my mother is in that category, like those women that were also, front row. And I knew an autographed CD would just tickle her pink.
Yeah. So guess what?
I bought an autographed CD.
We got it. We actually, for a while, we had I think I still have it in the new place, a signed
Photo.
What did he say? Brother, or what did he call you?
Bro? I think
Bro,
it's bro.
yeah, bro. Hey, bro. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Thanks for coming out, bro.
Esteban. And so then he gets really into it. Oh, yeah, we're talking about. So tell me a little bit more. Oh, first of all, you could buy the Bolero hat for, I think it was $90 or something like that.
You have mad negotiating skills because you talked that guy down like that.
I'll give you 45.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. I'm like, no, I was just kidding. I'm not really going to buy that hat. I can't have that hat.
Didn't he say, come on, man, you're taking food out of my mouth?
I think I know. It's pretty like, wow, you're playing the wrong card there, big fella. But like, he's like, yeah, man, hey, man, it's really cool, bro. We can't wait for the Tropicana thing. We're like, okay, that's fucking cool, brother. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, bye. Have a drink, we leave. Fast forward, I don't know, a month later.
Hey, Scott, you want to go to Tropicana?
He's playing at the Tropicana. I'm like, well, holy shit. He's playing at the, let's go. So we go to the Tropicana. We walk up to the theater, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a little bit too far. You just make a hard
over
right.
there.
It's a hard right.
Just passed it.
At the lounge. You don't mean the Trop Lounge. You don't mean the lounge that every fucking cover band that's ever played is playing at. Oh, yeah, that's the one. But wait a minute. There's only 5 people in the audience. Well, who's that up on the... Oh, fuck, that's a Bolero. It's fucking Esteban playing to 5 people at the... Oh, it was the saddest thing.
At the casino bar.
Ever.
Right? As you walk in and you take a right.
It was horrible.
Yeah, the casino bar. I mean, it makes that showroom at Bally's that you were goofing on Taylor Hicks about seem like prime real estate.
Jeez, it was horrible.
Yeah. So he's playing amongst the sound of slot machines.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding.
And people talking.
People talking. People having a drink.
Ordering a drink.
People on their phone.
Yeah.
People trying to book get their boarding pass printed out on
Yeah.
their wireless laptop.
It was...
Merch table was still set up.
Yeah.
So, he invited people. We're going to take a few minute break, and if you'd like to get a CD of our performance today, you can.
Or a hat.
The hat was still available.
Score the Bolero hat, folks. So, under the heading of that was the saddest experience I can remember, that was among the saddest experiences.
Now, quick anecdote to end this,
Okay.
to bookend this. I'm watching Monday Night Football 3 weeks ago, and I don't even know it's someone at Arizona Cardinals. And they're playing in Arizona.
Yep.
And so Monday Night Football, in and out of commercial break, or usually coming back from commercial breaks, will have bumpers with local flair.
Yep.
Bumper, technical term, just video that they go out and shoot in the field.
Yep.
And I'll be damned, Scott, I'm watching 20 minutes this Monday Night Football game just to get the score, and it's on ESPN, and they come back from break, and who's on the screen? Esteban playing guitar. And Mike Tirico from ESPN says, the fabulous Esteban there playing in Sedona just down the road from where we're at. Cardinals lead 27-10 here in the third quarter.
You know what? Esteban is Spanish for cockroach. You can't kill it.
You can't.
It just keeps going.
I'm just staring there, and I'm like, he had a good 15 seconds on ESPN where he's just, I think it was the grand
Sloppy,
finale
whole
portion.
crappy, shitty fucking, he's a terrible.
2-inch fingernails.
Makes me want to scream and cry. All right, let's keep going. Faster this time. I met Huggy Bear. Boom.
I don't even know who that is.
Starsky and Hutch.
No. No.
Youth is lost on the young.
I grew up in the Knight Rider Miami Vice era.
Okay, he was a pretty nice guy. Guess what he wants to do? He wants his own show. Guess who else I met?
Someone
That's
else wants
right.
their own show?
Louis Gossett Jr.
Oh.
Mayonnaise. So I'm like, oh, this guy could be a little rough. You
Does
know
he play
what?
trumpet?
No, he's the guy. Are you serious? You don't know who that is? Oh my God, it is unbelievable. This. Okay, so did you ever see the movie An Officer and a Gentleman?
No, I'm not big on movies.
Oh, so go watch it. It's a great movie. It's actually just a great movie. He won an Academy Award, which, by the way, if you look behind his shoulder, you can see it. He won an Academy Award for Officer and a Gentleman. We had him on Conversations. and via Skype. And guess what? Started off like, oh, this guy's going to be a pain in the ass because he had like an assistant doing all the, Mr. Gussett wants to, and Mr. Gussett wants. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then he gets on, you know what? Nicest guy ever. Super funny, easy laugh, joking around. I'm like, all right, Louie, you're pretty cool. I'll accept you and I keep you along. First comedian we ever met. I think one of the first comedians I ever met. When we were at the old place, there was at the Shimmer Showroom, there was this ongoing comedy thing going there. So that a whole bunch of comedians would go through there. And the first one we met was a guy named Kevin Meaney. Now, you probably don't know Kevin, but he was super famous back in the day. And guess what? He was afraid when he booked this deal that he might end up in somebody's garage doing a podcast and get killed. So he had the manager check us out. Is this a legitimate kind of production? Feels legitimate. We're actually in a real place, right? Right. He goes, that's not right. You and your big pants. That's him. But funny guy. Had a good time. Was like looking around going, hey, this is kind of neat. I kind of dig what's going on. So I'm like, okay, you're in. Do you know who this is? Elaine Boozler. Gained a little weight.
I was going to say Gooch, but...
No, not Gooch. Gooch is the host. Elaine Boozler was one of probably the top 2 or 3 comedians in her time. Super funny. Another example of a gal who like, okay, this could go wrong because she's, comedians can be rough trade. She was super nice, easy to get along with, wanted to have a good time, was playful. You could see her. She's like actually talking to me during that shot. It was super. I was like, this is great. Okay, feeling pretty good about stuff. And then...
God, who was the worst person ever on there?
I'm going to tell you, because I got him.
I remember watching it, and I was like, oh, God, this is painful.
Who did you think it is?
Someone got all political, didn't they? And it wasn't funny at all?
Oh, yeah, but that person wasn't famous.
Oh, okay.
Right? I vaguely know what you're talking about, but I don't, he's not on my list.
Oh, okay.
But I do remember, no, that's not who I'm thinking of. Okay.
It was someone I've heard of.
Was it?
Hal Sparks?
Who?
Was it Hal Sparks?
Oh, I think it was. I wasn't there for that show. I wasn't physically there for this show. Jacob and whoever, maybe you were there doing it, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, I just remember I could hear the nails on the chalkboard.
Actually, I didn't put him on here because I'm like, no one's going to know who he is.
Huh? He was on Talk Soup on E!
Well, there you go. So when I first moved to Las Vegas, I had to go to see this guy. It was the first show I saw. I've been watching this guy and following this guy forever. And it was The Amazing Jonathan. So we actually produced his show Burn Unit, for 6 or so episodes on the network. And he's a really interesting guy. He's insane. Without question. And he's very ill. He's got a bad heart. He did a show a year ago and said he had a year to live, and he's still around. But he was one of those things. It was such an interesting environment with him. I learned a lot dealing with him. So he was doing this burn unit thing on his own, and it was horrible. It just looked terrible. So I reached out to him and said, hey, look, you were on my show a couple years ago. I'm pretty good at this stuff. Why don't we just talk about what you're doing? And we talked, and he's like, yeah, okay, we can do some stuff. And we immediately kind of bumped heads about how to produce the show right. And so I'm like, well, let's just try to get through it. We had a short agreement of like 6 shows. And he is insane a little bit. But also, you could tell he was, was a little sick and kind of worn down. I mean, he did a lot of drugs and stuff. So I guess there's probably some accounting for that. But also had these moments of absolute genius. You can tell he was still quick and thinking. But here's the story I'll tell you about him that really affected me. That year, I decided I was going to buy everybody a Christmas present who was, who I made money from, and he paid me to actually produce the show on the network, of course. So I bought these really nice wine boxes that had engraved, or a brass engravement, VVN and VVC on it. And you open it up, it's a wine box, and it was very, very, very nice.
I still have mine.
Very nice. Oh, good. You got one, did you?
You're like, oh, I wonder. I thought I was supposed to have an extra one sitting around.
I thought I was one short. Okay, so I wanted to get one to Amazing Jonathan, and looked up his address, had it shipped there, but it came back to me. And I guess it's because it's behind a guard gate or whatever. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I want to deliver something to you for Christmas. It's like, yeah, sure. So no, actually, that's not what I did. I made sure he was home, and I just drove up to the guard gated thing, and I said, hey, delivery for Amazing Jonathan is, he's part of the network. And then they let me in or something like that. So I get to this place. He's got this giant house in Hendertucky, guard gated community. So I walk up there, knock on the door, and he answers. I said, hey, and my intent here was just this. I want to give you this gift. I appreciate hanging out with you. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving. God bless you. Thanks for, just being a part of the story of my life, right? Mm-hmm. So I walk
Usually
up.
when that happens, they're trying to hand you a watchtower and tell you about Jesus Christ.
Can I tell you about Jesus? I guess. So I hand him the thing, and you can tell he became like emotionally struck by the gift. So come on in. I'm like, okay. So he's a little nutty, his whole place is kind of crazy, decorated, kind of not creepy, but kind of creepy. He's like, yeah. And his girlfriend was there, and we're talking about, and I had just started the co-op. So we were talking a little bit about the co-op. So this is 2010 or whatever. And he disappears, and I'm just hanging out, and that's so nice. And he comes back with this armful of old Christmas decorations, like things that he bought that he was going to resell, like, ornaments that he really liked, that he wanted to get. And he goes, I want you to have this. And I want you to have this. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. But it was him trying to be reciprocal, So I could tell he was really touched by it and really trying to do something nice in return. It was an odd gesture, but I kept thinking to myself, he's really trying to be a nice guy right now. And I kind of changed my opinion, because he and I, we wouldn't go to blows, but he and I had a couple really loud arguments months before about, what he was wanting to do in his show, and when I'm telling him it's not going to work if you try to pull that shit off. Just trust me on this. And all of a sudden he's like, well, here's an ornament. And I had him. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever had happen to me. So it was pretty cool and a little wacky. Now, at the same time, I got George Wallace coming in, and he's one of those guys who couldn't be nicer.
Yeah.
Super friendly, been around forever, knows every comedian in the world. He comes in with, kind of an old joke. I've got these old glasses. They're $2, can't lose them. Yeah, we've heard that joke before. But he killed it. Everybody was fun. He was having a good time. He's like, this is kind of fun. What we're doing here. Can you tell me more about this? Yeah, sure. I'll tell you anything you want to know about this, George. But hung around, laughed. These are the guys that you want to hang around with, because normally you run into comedians like, for example, this douchebag.
Yeah, Affleck.
Yep. So Gilbert Gottfried. God bless his little.
He has a reputation. I think that's part of his shtick, is that he's a.
Well, if you look at him there in that picture, he looks like he's having a good time, and he's one of those guys that once you get on stage, he can turn it on. But when he walked into the studio, he was too cool for the room. Not as cool as the next guy I'm going to show you, but he was one of those. Yeah, super quiet, didn't really want to talk, just kind of wanted to get it done with. He was in that comedy thing every week, and new comedians there at the Shimmer Show, and he's like, for fuck's sake, here I am, I'm the Affleck guy for what am I doing at this guy's garage, basically. I'm like, all right, I'm fine. So he came in, I'm like, that really disappointed me, because he's funny. And
10 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm like, this would be pretty cool. But then we meet this guy, and this guy wins the award of the biggest prick I met walking in to my show.
Drum roll, please.
Mark Cooper.
You didn't have a good time hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Mr. Cooper is nobody I want to hang with. This guy walks in. He couldn't have been more unhappy to be anywhere, I believe, on Earth. Well. He just was like, yeah, no, I know. So we're going to mic you. We're going to, yeah. He's one of those guys. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Really? You know how this works? Have you seen the show before? No, I just know. Oh, well, fuck, that's great. That's terrific, Mark. Can't wait to now. As you can see,
I mean, he was a teacher on TV.
yeah. Now when he gets on, he was Mr. Funny. Oh, he was pretty hysterical. But man, the vibe he put out there, oof, not good at all. Now, on the opposite side, I'm going to give you my two favorite people.
Okay.
Both of which are comedians as well, which is ironic because in my experience, comedians are miserable people.
Oh, empty soul, just
miserable people.
Yeah, I mean, even below Gingers.
Oh, miserable people. Okay, so here's the first guy. We had a show called Golf and Other Four-Letter Words, and this comedian, super well known, came in, and it's Bill Engvall. Now, here's the thing about Bill. I can't tell you how many people have come in with entourages and managers, and this guy walks in. The show's in, I don't know, middle of the day on a Wednesday or whatever. He comes in by himself, nobody around him. He just walks into the studio, cup of coffee in his hand. Hey, like, hey, hi, Bill, because I'm a little like, it's fucking Bill Engvall. That's a real star right now. I mean, he was a star right then and there. He wasn't messing around. And he's coming on this little golf show that we have. He's a big golf fan. Just, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'll take pictures with you. I'll hang out with you. Sure, what the hell? Let's talk a little golf. Friendly. After the show, hung out for a while. Yeah, what's happening over here? Yeah, you should come to my show. We'll overplay. And we did.
There you go.
I'm like, wow, this is incredible that this guy who's so huge is okay to hang out with, people who are doing what we're doing. So he's number two. Close to number one.
Okay.
Maybe number one in overt niceness. The most surprising person I met who is famous is this guy.
Hickory Dickory Dock.
Andrew Dice Clay. And here's what was Here's what's crazy about this guy. So remember before I said that, when Robin Leach came on that first time, I waited for him to come on before we started the show. At this point, we weren't doing that. When the show starts at noon on Friday, we're starting the show at noon on Friday because I've got other shows to line up, right? So this show, Awkward Silence 2.1, starts at noon on Friday. Andrew Dice Clay is supposed to be there a half hour. He's not there. I'm like, fuck it, we're going. We're just going to see. I'm going to see what you're made of there, Gooch. Let's see what you can do because this is the way it's going to play out. So show starts, and the first 5 minutes or so of the show is some, comedic news stuff along with an on-site thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So the
Comedy Gold.
Yeah, Comedy Gold. So show's going on, and about 3 or 4 minutes into the show's running live. We're directing live chat. Dice walks in with his girlfriend, I think it was, and maybe one other person. So I have to mic this guy and get him ready for a show, and
Sure.
I can't sit and do 5 minutes of here's how this works. So he comes walking in.
Of all the times needed Mark Cooper to be the guest.
Right. Sit the fuck down. No, I'm like, hey, Dice. I mean, that's what I got. Hey, Dice. So I put a mic on him, on his vest. I think, yeah, he's got his vest on and his whole thing. He's got the whole shtick. I mean, he walks in, you're like, holy fuck, that's Andrew Dice Clay. I'm this far away from him. This is so fun. So I put it on. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, oh, this guy could go completely off the rails because he's late and I'm rushing and I'm not preparing him. I haven't got his water or whatever. Put it on. They finish. Now he sits and watches the last part of the comedy thing that in the beginning. Now, was it the funniest thing ever? Nope. Was it part of it? Have they done better at that time? Yep. He didn't say boo. He didn't give any. He didn't do any of that shit. So we take a break. We put him up there, and he fucking crushes it. Just crushes it. I actually just watched a little bit about it, I think yesterday. And I'm like, God damn it. This guy was funny and just totally into it. This is a little pissant little network at basically a...
You're a guy in your garage.
It's kind of like that.
Sometimes killing people when they come in.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah.
Unless their manager checks it out first.
So here's what's crazy about this guy. So he gets done. He's having a good time. We're all good. We finish up the show. Instead of going, pew, like you would expect him to do, I've had enough of this. I got to go. No, he hangs out and just kind of wants to talk. How does this all work? What are you doing here? How are you making this happen? And come to find out, he tells a guy about what we're doing. He tells a guy named Wheels Parisi. He's a comedian here who at the time was doing a gig at Rio. And these two are good friends. They've known each other for decades and decades back in New York. Right?
Okay.
So he tells this Parisi guy, you've got to meet Scott Whitney. He's doing some interesting stuff. I'm like, oh. So I get a call from this guy out of the blue or an email. Hey, well, let's meet. Dice does what? He suggests we meet. Okay, a little nutty. So we meet. Nice guy. He goes, you need to meet Robert O'Neill. Who's that? Robert O'Neill is the guy who runs the Royal Resort, Royal House, they were calling it at the time, which is the old casino right next to our place. So I meet Robert O'Neill. He and I hit it off. I've known him since 2010. Every Christmas, he and I meet, even though we don't see each other the rest of the year, for drinks. Every Christmas.
There you go.
He says, you've got to meet Jeff Victor. Who's Jeff Victor? Oh, he's the guy who runs Fremont Street Experience. He should do a show. So because Andrew Dice Clay told Bob and told Jeff, I got FSC Live.
I never knew that story.
That's how it happened.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Jeff just went to do something.
He just left. He's working for...
Oh, the D.
Yeah.
Derek Stevens.
What's his name? Yeah. So those are all the famous people I know. My favorite, Bill Engvall and Andrew Dice Clay.
And Esteban.
And, well, no one really knows Esteban. We
Esteban.
only pretend we know Esteban. I think you know what I mean.
Top of the hour break.
We'll take a quick break.
All right.
And we'll be right back. This is the Living in Las Vegas podcast. Is this the top of the hour? Well, holy crap, it is on the Vegas Video Network. Hey, Scott Whitney here for LASIK of Nevada. And I know what you're probably thinking. Scott, you're wearing glasses. What on earth can you tell me about LASIK? Well, let me tell you my story. So some time ago, I visited Dr. Rothman to see if I could have the LASIK procedure. Had a couple tests done and come to find out I wasn't a candidate. But instead of those $299 an eye guys who pretty much will work on anybody, Dr. Rothman brought me aside and just said it wasn't an option at the time, which I really appreciated. Now, meanwhile, he's gone on and done 60,000 LASIK procedures. I got friends in Reno, down here in Las Vegas, who've all seen Dr. Rothman. As a matter of fact, he is the most experienced LASIK surgeon living in Nevada today. So check out their website. It's LASIKofNV.com. Again, LASIKofNV.com. And if you mention Vegas Video Network, they're going to give you 50% off of premium LASIK plus, wait for it, an additional $200 off. That's LASIKofNV.com. LASIKofNV.com. Please go check them out if you need glasses. They're a good group of people. They literally have done, or Dr. Rothman literally has done 60,000 procedures.
What do you call it? Is that a testimonial? Because you didn't really...
It is. I tell you what, a lot of people are
reverse testimonial?
It is a reverse testimonial. Because the truth is, there are people out there who are like, oh, no, we'll work on you.
Yeah.
we'll take care
You were
of you.
good. Now, I mean, to be fair, Scott, you're no Chaz Palminteri.
No, that was a different thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, go see Dr. Rothman.
Right.
Tell him Jazzy told you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is better. All right. Real quick stories. First of all, super quick because we're running out of time and there's things I want to do. First of all, I have to congratulate Wayne. Those of you who watched the previous episode, we know that Wayne is, in essence, CIA. And he's now
Domestic Man of Mystery.
CIA. That's right. What was your title?
A Domestic Man of Mystery.
That's right. So I just want to congratulate you on that. I know that you really can't talk about what you do. Although you know all of us and you know everybody in the live chat.
I do. If you go back a couple episodes in the archives, you can get a pretty good idea. But
yeah. So I'm just going to say this: if you bump into him in the, let's say at the casino, maybe at the Shimmer showroom, just walk the other direction. There's no need to really look him in the eye because he already knows you and everything there is to know about you. Hey, we got a new show coming up next week on the Vegas Video Network. I am super excited about. We've talked about this a few times. There's a free ticket thing here called House Seats. Mm-hmm. It's my all-time favorite place. We've done other ones. I've done show tickets for locals, and there's a couple other ones running around. House Seats is by far the best of all these free tickets for locals things.
I concur.
And they have signed up to the Vegas Video Network. The guy who runs it's a gentleman named Bryce Crossman. Really interesting entrepreneur. He created House Seats 10 years ago. He also runs DW Bistro, which is arguably one of the most popular restaurants in the Summerlin area for sure. I would say in all of Las Vegas. You want to go to the best brunch, that's the place to go, but you can't get in because it's super famous. Anyways, Bryce and I have been talking, and he's going to do a show called House Seats Presents.
Wow.
It's going to begin next Monday at 3 o'clock will be our first show. And the premise is, I just can't wait to do this. We're going to interview every single House Seats entertainer.
No kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty cool?
Wow.
It's really super cool. So
Can I use like promo code Scott and get 50% off?
I think you can't. So we're going to interview every single House Seats performer, and it's going to be part of the network. So it's going to get the distribution on the 3 screens, TV and desktop and your mobile device through Vegas Video Network. But we're also going to embed every show within the show page all through House Seats. Very,
Cool.
very cool. Plus, these guys are doing things other than just the free ticket stuff. And we'll be talking about those things as well. Some really cool stuff. So he is one of those guys that I'm impressed with from a business perspective. He started 2 very successful businesses here. He's an enthusiastic guy, younger guy, enthusiastic. He's excited about this. I think he's got a great energy. He was a guest, and I met him through, he was a guest on Conversations, the Conversation show. And I just thought, this guy's got some pretty cool stuff going on. So I reached out to him, and we just started chatting, and he was super enthusiastic. And next thing you know, we're doing a show. So we're in the process of preparing the opening video and the closing credits in the lower thirds right now. And again, that will be on Monday. Starts this coming Monday. The show streams live at vegasvideonetwork.com/live at 3 o'clock. So that day we have 2 shows, 3 o'clock show and a 5 o'clock show. And I guess it's going to be called House Seats Presents. And we're going to have giveaways and like special things that you can't get through House Seats, but you can only get through the show. It's going to be pretty groovy. So don't miss it if you know what's good for you. Okay?
Will you remind people via your Twitter?
No, I don't believe in that anymore. I'll tell you what I will do, though.
Well, I'm out.
All right, it's Have a Drink on Me time. This is the part of the show where I show you a bar that I've had a drunk at. And that's not true. And if you can guess it, you can win stuff. Now, you have to play the part of telling what people can win. I don't know if you know this or not, but this is your part coming up, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to play some music. And while I'm doing that, you're going to be able to rattle off the things they can win. Are you ready? This is super important. You don't screw this up. You ready?
Okay.
What can they win?
Well, Scott, for this week's winner of Have a Drink on Me, they have the option of the Vegas Video Network visor. One size fits all. Don't be caught around Las Vegas without your Vegas Video Network visor.
Or
other contestants may receive a selection of compilation albums from solo guitarist Scott Whitney. These include Gajazzathon, Chris McCoustic, and Chris McCoustic 2. Finally, for those who really... For those, the hardcore fans out there, there will be bottles of Not Your Father's root beer left over. Not Your Father's, Scott says, no thanks.
very good. You handled that very well. And also, there's special bonuses available if you are in the live chat during this part of the show. If you're in the live chat during Have a Drink on Me and you have submitted a correct answer, we will double your entries. But wait, Scott, is there a way to triple my entries? Yep, there is. If you're in the live chat and you send us a video or a photograph that shows you along with the Gajazzathon CD in the wild, for instance, there's the Gajazzathon CD in Russia. There's the Gajazzathon CD singing a lullaby to a baby who is still unborn. That will also get you another entry. And by the way, where do you send your entries to? You send it to Have a Drink at vegasvideonetwork.com.
My Chris McCoustic, I stuck it in my CD player in my Chevy Volt about 2 years ago at Christmas time. Haven't taken it out yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Which means you don't listen to it at all.
Well, I subscribe to XM. But when I'm skipping to get from radio to the XM, it queues up the first couple seconds.
Here, dong, 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 dong. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the great
You know
magic...
me, though. I'm forever holding out for Who's Your Bossa Nova.
I'm telling you, it's the world's greatest album. Oh, by the way, part of the magic of owning one of these here visors is that you change. You're no longer Bill or Dave or Sam or whatever nonsense you might be calling yourself. No, you're part of the gallery. Nope, the galaxy of gods. Oh, wrong one. Scott is new, I like his name. Look at him, he's very handsome. There's Chan and Alan, there's Aaron. There's Pops, he is right there. Whoops. There's Sammy, there's me. There's Jackie, there's Christina. She just had a baby, and that was the one I showed you. There's Pops, there's Dawn. Oh shit, who is that? He's everywhere.
Yeah, that's what
He's
sexy motherfucker experts would say.
There's Mike, Danny. She lost this visor, or did she? Michael, there's my other co-host. There's Brett. Hope you're feeling better. Everything is good with peanut butter. Okay, that's your.
Does it still come in?
Galaxy of Guns.
Used to come in a variety of colors.
It used to not come in a variety of colors. It now does come in red or cream. And those are running low on stock.
Okay.
I'm actually almost out. I have to order another batch. Okay.
You still have 2 cases of Whitney Villa visors, though, right?
I have a boatload of those green fuckers. Anybody want Arches of Whitney Villa visor?
Just for a
I got lots of those.
contestants not appearing on stage will receive
That's funny.
the Whitney Villa Arches of Whitney Villa sun visor. Do you have a head that needs to be squeezed on the sides?
Yeah, it's not super comfortable. Hold on.
Do you want to look like a poker dealer from the 60s? Hello. The Arches of Whitney Villa visor. They're free because Scott had to order a minimum of 2 gross.
Yeah, so I ordered a lot of those. And the idea was a good idea, but they fucking squeezed the shit out of your brain. Horrible, horrible implementation. Okay, let's look at last week's Have a Drink on Me location, shall we? Boink. There it is. Oh, yeah, there it is. This was a good one. This is one of the more difficult ones we've had in a while. God bless your little heart. By the way, Kelly, if you are listening or watching the show, your visor is on its way. So I say. We had 24 entries, 18 of which were correct. Arguably one of the lowest correct ratios that we've had in a long time. The answer to this, we gave 3 hints, and the 3 hints were, it's the Golden Tiki, it's the Golden Tiki. And of course, it's the Golden Tiki, everybody.
Those sound like hints you would give.
Those are
Glad
good,
to
right?
see that the more things change, the worse the hints get.
You clearly don't watch the show, otherwise you'd get what we're doing there. Okay, here we go. Let's go through this. Get your hat up there, my friend.
I'm ready.
No, hat.
Oh, you've already got the...
Yeah. These are the ones that go in. You have to create doubles.
Yeah.
Good. Keep watching the show like you should do.
If you would put more pictures.
All right, ready?
Yes.
So if they're in the live chat, you're going to add their name.
Right.
Ready? Number 1, Rob Cole. Rob is in the live chat. Let's do it.
He is?
You bet.
Oh, okay.
He is Sure Shot Web Robbie. Rob tried to be funny with me on the Facebook, and Rob learned that comedy is hard.
We just make it look easy. We're trained professionals.
Sure. Monica Fagan. Binky is Binky. She is not. Okay. Michael Lazowski, who's Mad Chipmunk. Mad Chipmunk is not. Sometimes he's in there, but he's not in there this time. Sorry.
Didn't we have a better hat before? Like, when did we go with the...
Don't hassle me on the hat.
Steve Irwin.
Jans Adams. Janss. That is European. Clearly.
Giannis, maybe?
Giannis. We're going to call him Giannis Adams, and he is from Switzerland.
Yeah.
He is CIA.
They have that out there?
He is whatever CIA is for Switzerland. What are they called? They don't have anything.
Swiss
Switzerland.
Miss?
Fuck, they
I don't know.
He doesn't get anything. All right.
He guards the hot chocolate?
There you go. He's the hot chocolate man. All right. Erin Perry. We know she's not in there. Ken Anderson. We know Kenny's in there. Ken Anderson. Wink.
Name of a former Cleveland Browns quarterback.
Very good. Next up, Eric Hansen, Airport Limbo. Eric's in there. So put Eric in there. I mean, yeah, that was Ken. Now put Eric Hansen in there. He gets a double. And then we've got the great and powerful Scott Van Fleet, who, there's Scott right there, matter of fact. There he is. He's in the live chat. Let's get him. He's known as Kid Dakota. Boom. Way to go, doubling your pleasure, doubling your fun. Well done. And Kevin Whip. Now, Kevin actually had an entry last week, and we lost it, so I'm putting him in for this week because I'm honest that way. Boom. Now, who was that one?
Isn't that a good question?
That wasn't Kevin, right?
No, Scott
good.
F.
Very good.
Scott Van F.
Okay, good. Then we've got Pat Huey. Pat says he's under the weather today. Can't be in the chat, but he still wanted to play. This came in literally 5 minutes before we started the show. Pat's a man. He's not in the live chat because he's sick, but God bless his. Brian Leach. Brian is in there. There he is.
Robin's brother?
Yes. And he thought the shower clue that I gave for last week's Have a Drink on Me was hysterical. Arguably the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Which I appreciate that, Brian. Michael Snow says, I'll be in Las Vegas next week. So I would like to check out the Golden Tiki, and hopefully I'll win, and you can take me to the Golden Tiki, and then you and I will be boyfriend, which I thought was a little aggressive. But what are you gonna do?
I mean, you got to go after what you want.
Right. Who's not going to do that? Morgan Dollar. We know Morgan Dollar is in the live chat. He's from North Carolina, by the way. He says he has partaken in adult beverages at this particular establishment, the Golden Tiki. So Morgan Dollar gets double his pleasure, double his fun. And then Tom Yu. Tom Yu is also in the live chat right now. These people are killing it, doubling their entries. It took him a bit to figure out what this particular clue was, but he figured it out. Why? Because he's smart that way.
Boy, I hope you really, for 2016, you got to work on the sticky note budget here because it's just entries aplenty.
Here's the deal with those sticky notes. I don't want to talk about it because they're the ones that are flippity-floppity things, and it makes it very difficult to deal with. I'm not happy with it. It was a mistake, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Please don't make me feel bad. Kevin Whip again.
I'll get you a dispenser for these. They come.
Well, I know, and that's what somebody else said. Get a fucking dispenser, Scott. No, I'm a rebel. Please read this. Kevin writes,
hey guys. Oh no, I should do my Casey Kasem dedication.
Please do.
We received an email from a guy named Kevin. And he writes. Hey guys. Let me say first, I love the podcast.
Thank you, Kevin.
I've been going to Vegas for 28 to 29 years, but I always learn something new from you guys.
Wow.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
A. The answer to your question this week is the Golden Tiki.
That's right.
Have a good day. Thanks, Kevin Whip.
First of all, a couple of things about this email. He says A at the back. That means he's probably from the Connecticut, Canada. Here's the other thing that I think is fascinating. He's been coming here for 28 to 29 years, and yet he's still learning things. You want to know why? Because we make shit up. There's no possible way we could teach him anything. He's been here longer than I have. He's been here. He come here more than Brett's lived here. Nope. We are habitual liars making stuff up. Okay. Next up, Alan Perry. Alan is not in the live chat, but he writes. Hi, Scott and Brett. The clues for this week's bar were awesome. Konnichiwa. I didn't even need to look at the photo to know that the clue was Golden Tiki, especially since you spent time talking about visiting the place last week. Yeah, this was kind of a giveaway. I spent a great deal of time talking about this bar 2 weeks ago. I'm just asking you guys to keep up. Love the show, not still love the show, not live the show again. No, he just loves the show, and we are the best. That's from my good friend Alan. And his lovely wife created this over here, by the way. That's
nice.
what Aaron made that.
We got to get you a hint writer.
No,
you know, like late night guys have joke writers.
My hints are awesome. Mm-hmm. Danny Ackerman, who's in the live chat. Let's get her a double. Danny is back in last week. She write a poem because I guess Brett was mean to her, but her sonnet.
I'm not mean to anybody.
He's not. You got her in there. Here's Danny's poem.
How am I supposed to read this?
Out loud. Would be awesome. It's a poem.
Poetry. Who reads poetry? Who does
Danny.
poetry these days? Wow. Look at that. Danny at utterlygoodstuff.com writes, Oh, Scott, you naughty, naughty boy. You won't find this bar in Illinois. Nice. Your clue was off color. Might have made some viewers shudder. Your hints, not so sneaky. Reveal the Golden Tiki.
Nicely done.
So go have some rum. Just drink till you're numb. And lay off my rhyming, because it's all perfect timing.
Perfect.
You think you can do better? Bring it. I love a go-getter.
Oh, that was arguably one of her best poems.
TheDannyApp.com.
Suitable for framing. She's going to be changing that at some point, I believe. Well done, Danny. Danny will revisit us here on the show a little bit later. Okay, and then finally, two more. First, we've got... By the
way, let's just take a moment to acknowledge the rave reviews my poetry reading is getting in the chat room.
Let me just see. Let me check that.
Nothing.
I'll be
going to
I got nothing.
An open mic night at a coffee shop soon.
Excellent.
After these kind of reviews.
You know who's open up? Esteban.
I have to fight him sometimes for the open mic.
Right. Hey, can I use your sound guy? No, you cannot use
Harold. It was Harold.
There you go.
Harold, yeah. Harold the wind chime guy.
We're not very nice. Okay, first up is Robert. Vegas Live Today's Robert. He is in the live chat, so I'll pop in there. Boink. And you'll pop in one for him. And
for
then
Robert who?
Robert LaBerge.
Oh, sounds German.
You can call him Vegas Live Today. But he's going to get a triple, and here's why. Bobby has got a video as well.
Oh, boy.
Let's take a look at Bobby's video, shall we? We shall. Here we go.
Hey, Scott and Brett. Last week's part was the Golden Tiki. But before we look at the video...
Yeah, baby. Nicely done.
Here's the video.
Seems very serious. Look at that zoom. Nice zoom work.
Frankie's Tiki Room might very well be spooked based on the look of the interior design of this week's Have a Drink on Me bar.
This is not my music.
With regard to the second hint, I think we'll pass on the visual images of the suggested shower. And here's a little more info on your third hint about the periodic table AU.
I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
You have to hit the button, Scott.
It's coming. There it is. Thank you, Bob. You're one of the best.
So I got to put another one in there, right?
Yep, he gets a triple. Well done, Bobby. Well done. Huge response from the live chat on that one, my friends, countrymen. And then finally, no Have a Drink on Me is complete until we've got Gene, the Pops machine, adding some stuff. Let's see. Do I want to read all this? He's got a video. Let's do the video. Pops, take it away. Nice effect. Well done. That's not me playing, by the way.
Hey kids, today's health and safety tip.
Look at the CD
What to
spinning.
do if you lose your Vegas Video Network advisor? You wouldn't want to do that. It's gotta be a piss.
Right.
Fortunately, there's an app for that. Simple swipe of the phone, hit the app.
Special effects, baby. That's what we're teaching here. We're like
Wow.
a film school. Let's
Yeah.
continue on. Well done, Pops.
Presto, work that time. Yeah. Somebody needs that app. I need an app.
Clearly he drinks when he makes these videos.
Need one to help
Hopefully,
me
he didn't hit the
locate
wrong button. He's on Tinder
case
right
for
now.
my Jazzathon CD. It's hanging around here somewhere. Anyway, back to the Visor app. It doesn't have a name, just an icon. Alright, look for this icon. It's available in the App Store.
That was a Danny shot.
Available for Android or Apple. And if you can't find it there, call 1-800-321-7677. That's 1-800-321-POPS.
Do you ever think to yourself, people who are watching or listening to the show, that Pops is A, retired, and B, independently wealthy, because there's no possible way he can keep doing this kind of nonsense and get away with it?
I'm co-hosting, and I believe that.
Fair enough. He wrote, oops,
So do I gotta like just throw in the rest of the sticky pad?
Gotta give him a 3. Did we give him 3? Oh, here's
haven't done
one.
any yet.
Here's one.
That's the first one.
There's 2 because he's in the live chat, and the third one because he did the video. He writes, "Hola, amigos." It was in Living in Las Vegas 238 where you showed a picture of the front of the Golden Tiki and said that Frankie's Tiki Room should be a little concerned. So I'm going with that for my answer. Bravo to Robert on his Haddam entry last week. So that now what's happening here is I've got video people who are competing against each other, giving each other accolades. If this is not the
like a whole nother show.
If it's not the warmest group of people ever, I don't even know what it is.
Christmas.
The man has nifty editing skills and put thought, time, and effort into his project. I can't match his skills. I can't match Danny's on-camera personality and delivery, so I just bring whatever old jalopy I can bolt together, and you still have to let me play the game. Okay, question is,
Buick, you mean in the driveway?
where the, what?
That Buick in the driveway you were referring to?
What Buick?
An old jalopy?
What are you talking about?
Something?
Let's not talk about that. The question is, where the hell is everybody else? Nobody else got a cell phone or an email address. What the fuck? I challenge everybody to take a minute, grow some spine, grow some balls, and show us. He's like the old guy. Get off my grass. Get off my lawn, you kids. Don't worry about being ridiculed. Everybody gets ridiculed here. I don't think that's true. I think just you get ridiculed. Thanks for letting me be a part of the fun, and thanks for the great education I'm getting as part of the big show. I wouldn't be such a cheerleader if you sucked. I don't think you can argue with that. Of course, and here's the part that you got to remember about Pops. Of course, if I do win, please toss it back in an entertaining way and continue to draw until you get somebody who has not won. So even if he wins, he wants to give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away.
All right.
He is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I was going to make that joke, but I thought it was old.
Okay, here we go. So we're mixing it up. Stir it up. You ready?
I still had some Post-it notes left.
No, nothing else. We do have Post-it notes. All right, pick us a winner there.
Oh,
Pick a
man,
win.
the pressure. I mean, gosh.
What do we got? Feel it. Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, there's about 15. Drop like all of them. There you go, big boy. Who's our winner?
Well, it's in your handwriting, Scott.
Okay.
And therefore, I'm going to let you read it because I can't.
All right. And the winner is Kevin Whip. All right. Now, Kevin, this is the one that I put in because I forgot to put him in last week. That's because we're so honest. Kevin, what do you win? Well, you could win a visor or a drink on me or one of these amazing CDs. Okay. let's take a
One
look.
or the whole?
One, just
Okay,
one.
okay.
Greedy. Kevin is greedy.
I'm just
bastard.
asking for him.
No.
Because how are you going to have Gajazzathon and not Gajazzathon 2?
Well, there is no Gajazzathon, too.
How?
It's
Okay.
Chris
Chris
McAcoustic.
McAcoustic too.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you don't listen to it anymore. Okay, so here's this week's Have a Drink on
I can
Me.
spell it, though.
Yeah, it's terrific. Super helpful. This week's Have a Drink on Me. Here we go.
Is that
Hint.
DJ ZB spinning?
Hint number 1.
Oh, boy.
Hint number 1. Hell with the drinks. It has the best fried chicken on the strip. Hell with the drinks. Best fried chicken on the strip. Hint number 2. If you can handle a 7-10 split, you'll probably enjoy this place. If you can handle a 7-10 split, yeah, you'll probably enjoy this place. That was an amazing hint, by the way.
Oh, yes. I'm breathless.
Hit number 3. Shut the fuck up. Hit number 3. You'd think this place would be in New York, New York, but it's not. It is, however, in London and another place besides Las Vegas. You'd think this place might be in the casino known as New York, New York, but it's not. It is, however, in London and another place. Las Vegas. I don't know what you're making all these dramatic looks for. What's your point on that?
Like I said, the more things change, the
Those
more
are good hints.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Those are good hits. All right. Okay.
Just give it away. You want to talk about give it away, give it away, give it away now. That's what you do with these hints.
I want people to win.
Clearly.
That's going to be a hard one.
No, it's not.
It feels hard. All right, we're done. I can't do anymore. I can't take any more of this. All right, thanks everybody for playing. I want to thank Pimpin Wayne for A, making fun of my hints, and B, for
I'm always here for that.
for stepping in and being a helpful guy there. Hey, if you want to check, send an email to us and have us answer one of these questions that I've been holding on now for weeks and weeks and weeks, send it to onairq. Whoops, get that way. onairq at livinginlv.com. Again, onairq at livinginlv.com. Hey, let's say that you want to be a part of the show, meaning you want your voice in there making stuff happen. All you got to do is go to our homepage, click that little red tab on the right side. It'll pop up a window. You click the green tab, and because you're smart enough to have a microphone on your computer, you're going to leave us a voicemail, which I think is pretty magical, by the way. Hey, if you're watching us or listening to us on iTunes, please give us a 5-star review. If you're checking us out on the YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and share us if you would. And by the way, you can also check us out on Roku, Stitcher, TuneIn, Chromecast, Apple, Google, and Fire TV. And of course, the Vegas Video Network. I'm Scott Whitney.
Do you have a Twitter?
I do have Twitter. Vegas Video NTWRK. I don't say it because it's such a pain in the ass to say that it just makes me sad. Oh, we can't afford all those letters. What? I have 140 characters here, but I've only got these many. Come on!
It's a give and take world, Scott.
I'm Scott. That's Wayne. Thanks very much for showing everybody. Thanks everybody in the live chat. You guys are awesome as always. Congratulations to our winner. And we'll see you guys next week on the Living in Las Vegas podcast. Don't ever do that again.
So we totally just glazed
You're
over
right.
questions.
We're talking over the... Oh, I forgot Danny's video. Oh, shit. Sorry, Danny.